Once we've accepted our new vessels from Fountaine Pajot, they get launched here in Portmany, waiting for the client's arrival. This is the point where we fit ex-factory options such as water makers, solar panels, dinghies, nav pods and any additional things the client might require. Prior to the owner's arrival, we accept the vessel on their behalf and check out all the inventory and systems. These include doing all of our sea trials. We make sure all the tanks are filled and the boat is ready to move aboard for the owner. Our contractors in La Rochelle are on hand during this time to install any additional options the owners may have requested. Uchimata is the company that we work closest with in La Rochelle. Pierre and his wife Sylvie run a very good business, with Guillaume managing operations. They now have a large staff, which of course still includes Sylvie's 2 whippets, who've both been a key part of the team from the very start. Okay, right behind us here we have one of our Lucia 40s on the slipway. This is where we get some of our ex-factory install work done, so this is through hull fittings being put in. As you can see with the large tides, it's very easy to beach the boats. This also is a good example of how the Fountaine Pajots can be run up on either a slipway or a beach, and they can sit happily on their mini keels. Our clients arrive into La Rochelle either by train or through the local airport. We try to make sure we're there to collect them whenever possible. In this video we see Michael and Marita arriving into La Rochelle to see their new Lucia 40 for the very first time.
Yeah, woo! Oh yes. I think this will do.
Here we see Martin taking Sonia gallantly across the threshold of their new Lucia 40 for the first time.
Yeah!
The first day is always a celebration with just getting on board, having a look around the vessel and of course christening it with the first bottle of champagne.
There you go.
It's a fizzer.
Thank you. Cheers! 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 Congratulations!
Thanks for coming over to help us through this little while.
After that we normally get the clients to stay the first night or 2 in accommodation, just to make the transition of moving aboard a pleasant and relaxing process. The first job when moving aboard your vessel is provisioning for life aboard. This can involve a lot of shopping. As well as having all the major shopping stores, La Rochelle has some beautiful scenic markets that you can explore in your spare time. This beautiful medieval city also has wonderful restaurants for you to sample the French cuisine. Rochelle is a wonderful place to accept your boat and move aboard for the start of this big adventure. Make sure you take the time to explore it and enjoy it before you depart. Once on board, we go through a full handover of the vessel together. This involves checking off your inventory and that your vessel is as per your contract. We go through a full technical brief, checking all the systems and making sure everything is working. And when the weather is nice, we head out for our sea trial acceptance. Once on board the vessel, we go through a full technical handover with you. This involves going through all the systems on board the boat, making sure you are okay with their operation and how everything works. Once on board the vessel, we carry out a full technical brief of all the systems on board, making sure that you are up to speed and okay with their operation. The coast off La Rochelle provides the perfect spot for your first sail. There's always good breeze off the Atlantic, and the bay inside the island group provides flat water sailing at all times. Should you require further tuition or instruction out in the bay while in La Rochelle, we're affiliated with the local sailing school, and Alan, the sailing instructor, is more than willing to help. We can also provide an extra crew member should you need it for your first trip across the Bay of Biscay. As well as sailing, we can also practice anchoring and check that you're competent in how all of your instruments work on board. Most clients have already named their vessel prior to arriving in La Rochelle. They bring their boat names with them, and it's always a fun time naming the boats. Multihull Solutions also provides a naming or christening ceremony or service. This is optional and at no extra charge.
think for me it was more about experiencing the whole thing as a whole and not just picking it up in Australia. We've always been a bit adventurous, and if we're coming over here to sail the Med for a period of time, we don't know how long yet, we might as well experience the whole process from start to finish, and it's been good doing that. Yeah,
And
we like to do it.
couple of things for me. I think one was the price. I think that it was an influence, but we had decided at one of the boat shows that if we were going to do this cruising thing, instead of cruising the east coast of Australia, it would be nice to cruise another part of the world. So price, pick it up here in La Rochelle, shoot down to the Mediterranean and journey back home the long way. We just thought it sounded like a good idea at the time, and so far so good. In the end, when we crossed over from powerboating to sailing catamarans, we did some serious research from boat show to boat show, and over the course of maybe three boat shows, 3 years, I took a very long list. I cut that list down to 3 types. They were Fountaine Pajot, Lagoon and Leopard. I cut that list of 3 to 2 simply on finish of product. So we were then tossing up between the Lagoon and the Fountaine Pajot. And in the end, I don't know whether Marita agrees with me, but I actually think the finish of the product for me got this one over the line. And this new model, Ant rang me 6 months prior to the release of this model when we were looking at the Lipari, and at that stage we were tossing up between a Lipari and a Helia. We didn't know which boat would suit us best. Ant rang me one day, I think it was 6 months out before release, and said, look, if you are getting close to the point of purchase, which we were, and he knew we were building up to something, he said you might like to wait for a little bit because we've got a release coming up. Couldn't tell us a whole lot about the boat, but he said, look, you might want to put your decision on hold until you see our new release. When we saw the new release, it just came down to the volume of this boat versus anything else on the market, finish of the product.
Yeah, and in actual fact we didn't see the boat when we bought it. We bought it off the plan, off the 80 centimetre model, but Michael saw it there in the glass case and thought, yeah, that looks fantastic. And basically it's modelled off the Helia in a lot of ways, and we liked the flow of the Helia, so we took a leap of faith on the Lucia 40, and when we went to see it finally at the Paris Boat Show about 5 or 6 months after we had signed up for one, we were really pleased with what we saw. Well, I finished work 2 Fridays ago, and
In actual fact, you resigned today.
today's my resignation day.
Marita's
My
last day
official
of work officially
resignation day.
is today. Congratulations, honey.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You can cut that if you like. In terms of plans, our intention all along, I think, well, mixed intention, because we've always been very structured in our life, was to deliberately not be structured about this trip, and therefore our plans are extremely loose. So at this stage, pretty much all we've got planned is that we sail out of La Rochelle when we feel ready to do that, and we head south. The intention is to go down to the Mediterranean and float around there for an unspecified period of time.
Maybe a season or two, or when they kick us out.
We have a rendezvous in Innsbruck, Austria at Christmas time to meet up with some family members that are coming over to have Christmas with us.
Can't sail there, so we'll have to fly there.
We're going to have to get there by other means, and that's our plan at this stage. But ultimately, we'd love to bring Let's Dance back to Sydney, and that will involve an Atlantic crossing and through the Panama Canal across the Pacific Ocean at some stage and into Sydney Harbour, and I think that will be quite a momentous occasion as well, because Sydney Harbour, it's a very special place. So Look, it's been fantastic. You definitely have to come here open-minded and with a flexible approach, not only to time, but to the details of everything. But it's been really great. Multihull Solutions have facilitated all of the tricky things because obviously the language barrier is fairly significant in La Rochelle, or can be, but Nod has got great relationships with all of the people that we need to be dealing with, and all of the processes have gone very smoothly. Even some details of shopping and things like that you're obviously trying to buy things that not the average tourist would be looking for in a shop, so it gets tricky, but it's part of the fun. It's definitely part of the fun, and you've got Multihull Solutions and Nod providing really great support in that whole process.
So I think I can sum that up by, I don't think I would come over here and do this on my own. I think if you tried to pick your own boat up, look, you could do it, there's no doubt about that, but having Nod here for the last 2 weeks or a week and a half, whatever it's been, has been, like, you get things done, it just happens. Just the littlest things, going shopping for tools, getting the Fountaine Pajot guys here, getting Uchimata here, on your own, I think that would be 10 times harder. Having someone that you can go to and say, look, this needs doing, it's been fantastic. I wouldn't do it any other way. Regardless of whether this was boat number 1 or boat number 7, I think you'd be, in my opinion, mad not to have someone here to help you out doing it. And Uchimata have been fantastic.
Yep.
Pierre's done a fantastic job with us. But I think that's because of the relationship that Multihull Solutions, or perhaps Nod himself, has created over the years with Pierre. I feel now that we've got a really good relationship with Pierre. Nod flies out tomorrow, and I have no issues with sitting down with Pierre at the beginning of the day and saying, right up Pierre, what do we have to do today? So I think it's been invaluable having you guys, and you too, Rach.
Yeah.
You've been good fun.
Yeah.
I think it's invaluable having you guys here, no doubt.
He has been outstanding, and we are so happy that he and you were both here as part of that whole process, because it's been so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, Nod obviously has a good relationship with the French guys and gets things done, and that's kind of what we've got used to dealing with him. He gets things done.
We feel very safe in his hands. He's looking after our best interests.
Well, we can't really offer advice about the actual voyage itself because we haven't done it yet. But I think generally you don't have too many unreal expectations. You want to have plenty of time. Be flexible in your timing. It could be issues with stuff getting finished, or the warranty claim, or just the weather being bad for a week or two. Don't have a schedule. Have plenty of time, and do your homework first. We did a lot of homework on where to go down the coast, how to do things.
But also, if you're enjoying something, then stay and enjoy it. Don't rush off to the next destination, just because it might be the very last time that you're ever in that place. So just stay and enjoy, and just relish every minute that you have in every destination that you get to.
Yeah, be flexible.